Welcome to Wonder X. We are back with another marvelous video for the Marvel fans out there, or shall I say the fans of the God of Mischief. And since our eyes got stuck by the iconic knives of Loki's mischief while watching Loki, you could have missed some things on the screen which may be important. And that's where we come in to help you. We got you the top 10 things that you might have missed in Loki episode 3. And this video is the continuation of the previous two videos based on the previous episodes. And before we go further, we issue a spoiler alert, since we get into deeper details, so those may reveal some super insights. So without any delay, let's start the countdown. Number 10. Bartender familiar with Asgardian customs. Yeah, the bartender seems familiar with Asgardian customs. When Loki needs to unwind during a tense mission, he decides to do a bit of singing and a whole lot of drinking. He requests a new drink by smashing his glass and screaming, "Another!" Loki's brother Thor also attempted this seemingly rude custom when he first came to Earth. However, Jane quickly calls out the God of Thunder and he's left without a beverage. But Loki got lucky to get his next drink. And when Loki does it, it was on Lamentis 1. The bartender immediately starts pouring him a new drink. We guess she'd had an Asgardian or two smash a glass over the years. So, she seems familiar with this custom. Number 9. C20 and Mobius are from our times. Thanks to Sylvia, we are positive that every member of the TVA is a variant that was plucked from the timeline. We have reason to believe that Mobius and Hunter C20 both lived in our era. Mobius likes drinking Josta, an energy drink that was introduced in 1995. He also has an obsession with jet skis, created in the same decade. As for C20, when she first appears in the episode 3, Helios Kyoko's Demon is playing. Although the particular single was released in 2019, C20 could have been listening to it in the early 2020. And that may be why she has a 20 on her helmet. It may represent the year she was taken from. Here the evidence points to Mobius and C20
Number 8,
being spirited
Sylvia's
away
broken
from modern
headpiece.
times. One of the most notable things about Sylvia's outfit is that one of her horns is broken. This small detail could hint at a tense comic moment. During the Loki Agent of Asgard comics, Thor gets enraged after uncovering a horrifying truth about his brother's true identity. And then the enraged God of Thunder proceeds to hit the God of Mischief so hard that one of her horns on the Loki's headpiece cracks in half. And after that, he continues to wear the broken helmet for the rest of the series. And if Sylvia is like her comic counterpart, she may have gotten into a heated fight with Thor in the time she is from. The fractured headpiece could also remind of something sadder. It could tell you of the broken relationship between the siblings. Number 7. Aliens reference. Well, this is a funny one. The two soldiers taking the tickets on the last train out of the Doomsday are revealed in the episode's credits, named Corporal Hicks, played by John Barclay, and Private Hudson by Ben Vandermeer. Those ranks and surnames come straight from the movie Aliens. Michael Biehn played Hicks and Bill Paxton played Hudson. While Hicks and Hudson ultimately don't survive the franchise, the two guards here at Lamentis 1 might have made it. And hopefully Loki didn't throw them out of the window, so it's a blessing for them. Number 6. Sylvia's postman. Have you ever expected Loki and Sylvia to sit and talk about the prince and princesses they romanced? During their surprising conversation, Sylvia mentioned that she has a close relationship with a postman. Any clue about it? Don't worry, that's why we are here. It turns out that there was a male person in the comics that coincidentally also messed around with the time. In one Fantastic Four story, the team's mailman, Willie Lumpkin, throws history. Of course, after he travels into the past, it's later revealed that a villain named Tempest set up the postman on purpose to break the timeline. Although the late great Stan Lee played the mailman in Fantastic Four, the character hasn't appeared in the MCU. Do you think the character will be introduced as Sylvia's former flame later on? Well, that is something we still have to find out. Number 5. Incursions. If you were reading the Marvel comics back from 2013 to 2015, then the sight of an oncoming planet entering another planet's atmosphere probably looks super familiar. In comics, those Earths were inhabited by the alternate universe Earths. Part of the multiverse that the TVA is trying to prevent from existing. Every time an alternate Earth threatened to destroy the main Marvel Earth, a group called Illuminati, consisting of all the A-list brains and powerhouses of the Marvel Universe, were called upon to destroy those worlds before collision. That's not so much the case in Loki episode. As far as we know, this is one of Cataclysm that befalls Lamentis and no other planet. But still, the visual is pulled from the comics. So if you want to thank us for this observation, then go ahead and thank us in the comment section. Number 4. Loki opened the door to Frog Thor. While Loki is talking about the magic he learned from his mother, he mentions that he can transfigure objects into frogs. This innocent amphibious reference is subtle callback of the bizarre Thor storyline. In the comics, Loki turns the god of thunder into a frog for multiple issues as a part of a larger scheme to claim the throne. But it backfires when the Frog Thor arrives in time to stop the brothers' wicked plans. If Frida taught the MCU's version of Loki how to turn people into frogs, Thor better watch his back. The former Prince of Asgard could become the second Disney royal to become an amphibian. And the Thor who looks like a Greek god turning into a frog will be very hard on the fans. And now we're heading straight to the top 3 spots. But before we get there, we just want you to go ahead and subscribe to Under X so that you don't miss the other parts that we will be releasing on the later episodes of this series. Number 3. Frigga might have something to do with Sylvia. Even though Loki committed some truly despicable acts, he treasured his mom Frigga because she showed him understanding and taught him magic. But that version of Frigga seems to be absent from Sylvia's timeline. When talking about her past, the variant mentions she learned magic on her own and doesn't have the same warm memories that Loki has towards his mom. This suggests that Frigga didn't exist or had a different personality in Sylvia's time. But without Frigga, we know the timeline would have gone bonkers because she gave her life to protect Jane in Asgard and also had Thor rally in Endgame. And Frigga's alternate personality or absence could have been enough to break the timeline and send Sylvia down the path of becoming a variant. Well, what are your thoughts about this thing? Let us know in the comment section. Number 2. Sylvia the Enchantress. Sofia Di Martino is playing a Loki variant who goes by the name Sylvia. This name is significant because it's an alter ego of the second character to go by the name Enchantress in the comics. This connection is solidified by Loki and Sylvia tossing around the verb enchant a bunch of times in the episode. That's what Sylvia does. She's an enchantress. And because of that, it also seems like Sylvia is the MCU's enchantress. This is a big deal because up till now, the Enchantress was the most prominent Thor villain to remain unused in MCU.